The real question isn't, how do I make more money? That can help. But it's not the pivot. The real question is, why do I keep choosing the short-term feeling over the long-term life? That's the psychological root. Your brain is wired to prioritize now. In this video, you're going to learn why most people feel stuck financially and don't know why. And peradventure, if you find yourself in this financial feeling, this video will teach you the solution you need to deal with it. Welcome to Moments of Money, the YouTube channel that explores how you can make more money by dealing with your psychological behavior with money. You're lying in bed with your phone 2 inches from your face. You refresh your bank app like the number might change if you look at it harder. A quiet hope. A quiet dread. You do the math in your head. Rent? Groceries. That one bill you forgot about until it reminded you? And you tell yourself the same sentence you told yourself last month. I just need to get through this week. Tomorrow, you'll be more responsible. Next month will be different. When you make a little more, it'll finally feel like you can breathe. But right now, it feels like you're pushing a boulder uphill and waking up every morning at the bottom again. You're not reckless. You're not stupid. You're not lazy. You're tired. And there's a specific kind of exhaustion that comes from doing your best and still feeling behind. It's the small moments that hurt the most. Standing in a checkout line, doing mental arithmetic you didn't want to do, opening an email you already know is a bill, seeing payment declined and pretending you didn't notice, watching your paycheck land and disappear like water into sand. You tell yourself it's just the big things. Inflation, the economy, rent, bad luck, but then it's also the small things. The coffee you bought because you needed a win, the little treat because the day was heavy, the delivery fee you paid because your energy was gone, a subscription you forgot you had, a weekend where you spent more than you meant to because you wanted to feel normal. And then the quietest part, the part you don't say out loud, you scroll past someone else's vacation, someone else's new car, someone else's kitchen remodel, and even if you're happy for them, something in your chest tightens because you can't tell if you're actually falling behind or just watching other people's highlight reels while you sit in your real life. So you try to fix it the way most people try to fix it. You look for tactics, you look for shortcuts, you look for that one magic budget that will make you a new person. But somehow, the same cycle returns. A little progress, a little hope, then one unexpected expense, one emotional week, one I deserve this. And you're back in the familiar place. Stuck, confused, frustrated. Then later, quiet regret. Not dramatic regret. Not the kind that makes you cry. The kind that sits in the background like a low hum. The feeling that you're working hard, but your money never quite listens to you. And this is why most people feel stuck financially and don't know why is really about because the trap isn't what you think it is. It's not just math. It's not just income. It's not even your spending. Not at the root. If you watch closely, this will change how you think about money forever. Because the real reason you feel stuck is invisible. It hides inside comfort, inside distraction, inside routine, inside later. Inside, I'll start when things calm down, and things never calm down. Life doesn't clear its throat and step aside so you can get your finances together. Life keeps coming. Bills keep arriving. Temptations keep getting smarter. And your brain keeps trying to protect you the only way it knows how, by choosing relief right now. That's the first invisible villain. Relief, not happiness. Relief. The moment your brain says, make the discomfort stop. You don't impulse spend because you love wasting money. You impulse spend because you're human. Because you're stressed. Because you're bored. Because you're lonely. Because you're overwhelmed. Because you want a feeling to change. And money is one of the fastest ways to change a feeling. It's why a package at your door can feel like someone remembered you. It's why a night out can feel like you still have a life. It's why clicking buy now can feel like control, even when it's actually surrender. Then there's the second invisible villain. Your life is designed to consume, not because you're weak, because everything around you is optimized for frictionless spending. One-click checkout, saved cards, instant approvals, buy now, pay later. There are entire teams of psychologists hired to make maybe feel like yes. So when you say, why do I keep ending up here? Part of the answer is simple. Because you're fighting an environment that is built to win. And then there's the third invisible villain. The one that doesn't feel like a villain at all. It feels like being a normal person. It's called gradual. You don't wake up one day and decide to build a life you can't afford. You just keep going. A small upgrade here, a slightly better brand there, A few more comforts because you've earned them. And you have earned them. That's the painful part. You're not buying nonsense. You're buying a life that makes sense to you. A life that feels like progress. But what nobody tells you is this. Lifestyle creep doesn't feel like greed. It feels like finally being okay. It feels like finally matching the life you imagined you'd have. And then the bills arrive. And your money gets tight again. And you think you're doing something wrong, when really you're doing something normal. There's a moment that happens to almost everyone. You get a raise, or you finally pay off something. Or you have a month where you think, this is it, I'm out. And then, almost silently, your life expands to fill the space. A better phone plan. A nicer gym. More nights out. A new car because the old one is starting to feel unreliable. Not because you need it, because you're tired of feeling behind. Because you want to feel like you're moving forward. And the cruel joke is that you are moving forward, just not financially. Because your money doesn't just measure your purchases. It measures your identity. Most people don't spend to own things. They spend to become someone. Someone who has it together. Someone who is successful. Someone who is attractive. Someone who is finally safe. And that's why getting unstuck is so hard. Because it's not just changing numbers. It's changing who you're trying to be. There's another layer to this. A quieter one. The layer that makes you feel like you're stuck even when you're technically okay. You might not be drowning, but you're not free. Because the real weight isn't the bills. It's the constant mental tab you keep open. The background calculation, the low-grade anxiety, the sense that something could go wrong and you wouldn't be ready. And when your brain lives in that state long enough, it starts to crave escape. So you numb out. You scroll. You snack. You spend. You avoid. You say you'll look at it later. Because looking at it feels like admitting something. That you're not in control. And nobody wants to feel that. Especially if you're the kind of person who handles things. Who shows up. Who works hard. Who others rely on. So you keep the appearance of stability, while privately wondering why it's taking you so long to get ahead. And then you hear advice that sounds clean and logical. Just budget. Just invest. Just stop buying stupid stuff. But that advice often misses the point. Because you can't spreadsheet your way out of an identity loop. You can't app your way out of emotional spending. You can't optimize your way out of avoidance. Money is not just a financial system. It's a psychological mirror. It reflects your fears, your impulses, your values, your self-image, your patience, your shame. And most people never learn how to look into that mirror without flinching. So they keep chasing the feeling of enough, with behaviors that guarantee they'll never feel it. More income, more stuff, more convenience, more upgrades. And somehow, still the same anxiety. Still the same stuckness, like running on a treadmill that gets faster every time you say yes. Then one day you notice something that scares you. It's not just that you don't have as much saved as you wanted. It's that time is passing. Years pass fast when your life is repetitive. Paycheck, bills, small pleasures, small regrets. Repeat. And what makes it feel unbearable is that you can't point to a single disaster. Nothing happened. You just drifted. You looked up and realized you've been busy for years, but not building. Busy surviving, busy coping, busy proving, busy keeping up. And now you're quietly afraid that this is just what adulthood is. Working hard, feeling tired, being one emergency away from panic. That's the moment people start bargaining. I'll get serious when I pay this off. I'll start investing when I have more left over. I'll save when life gets cheaper. I'll be disciplined when I feel motivated. But motivation is a weather pattern, and waiting for perfect conditions is how people stay stuck forever. But here's the truth. Most people aren't stuck because they don't know what to do. They're stuck because the version of them that wants freedom keeps getting outvoted by the version of them that wants comfort. And this is where everything changes. Because comfort is not evil. Comfort is human. But unchecked comfort becomes a cage you decorate. A cage with streaming services, a cage with takeout, a cage with monthly payments, a cage with small dopamine hits that keep you calm enough to tolerate a life you don't feel in control of. The real question isn't, how do I make more money? That can help. But it's not the pivot. The real question is, why do I keep choosing the short-term feeling over the long-term life? That's the psychological root. Your brain is wired to prioritize now. Now is certain. Later is fog. Now is a click. Later is a plan. Now is a hit of relief. Later is discipline. And discipline has been marketed to you as punishment, as deprivation, as misery. But discipline isn't punishment. Discipline is self-respect in motion. Discipline is the ability to sit with discomfort without buying your way out of it. Discipline is choosing not to outsource your emotions to your credit card. It's calm power, because the person who can delay relief is the person who can build anything. Financially stuck, people aren't failing at money. They're stuck in a pattern of soothing. Soothing with spending. Soothing with avoidance. Soothing with, I'll deal with it later. And later becomes a lifestyle. The moment you see that, you stop asking, what's wrong with me? And you start asking, what's the pattern I've been living in? Because patterns can be changed. Not with a dramatic overnight transformation, but with a new identity, a new standard, a quiet shift in what you tolerate. Here's the part nobody says clearly enough. You don't get financially free by having a perfect month. You get financially free by becoming a person who doesn't need perfect months. A person who can take a hit and not collapse into old habits. A person who can feel stressed and not spend to feel better. A person who can be bored and not pay to escape boredom. That's what wealth actually is. Not the number. The control. Control over your attention. Control over your impulses. Control over the story you tell yourself about what you deserve. Because yes, you deserve good things. But you also deserve a future that isn't fragile. And that future is built by choices that are often invisible to everyone else. It's built when you leave the store without buying the thing, when you close the tab, when you say, not today, when you pay yourself first, not because it's a trick, but because it's a message. A message that your future is not optional. A message that you're not waiting for rescue. A message that you're not the kind of person who lives one surprise away from chaos. The world will tell you freedom is having more. But freedom is needing less. Freedom is not being impressible, not being baited, not being pulled around by every sale and every upgrade and every new shiny object. Freedom is waking up and realizing your bills don't own your mood. Your balance doesn't decide whether today will be a good day. You do. And it starts with a different relationship to discomfort. Most people treat discomfort like an emergency. They rush to solve it, to numb it, to distract from it. But if you can learn to treat discomfort like information, everything changes. The stress you feel when you look at your bank account, that's not proof you're broken. It's proof you're awake. It's proof you care. And caring is powerful, because caring can become action. If you stop using shame as the fuel, shame burns hot, and then it burns out. What lasts is something quieter. A decision, a standard, a line you stop crossing. In the last few minutes, I want to give you a handful of quiet truths you can carry into real life today. Not hacks. Not complicated systems. Just shifts that pull you out of stuck. The first is this. Stop asking money to fix your emotions. Because every time you spend to change how you feel, you teach your brain that discomfort is dangerous and spending is safety. And that lesson gets expensive. The next time you feel the urge to buy something you didn't plan, pause long enough to name what you actually want. Rest, validation, a break, a win, connection. If you can give yourself the real thing, even in a small way, the urge loses its grip. The second truth is uncomfortable. Your financial life will not change until your identity changes. Not your personality. Your identity? The sentence in your head that says, I'm just bad with money, is not an observation. It's a command. So replace it with something you can live up to. Something calm and firm. I'm the kind of person who doesn't create problems for my future self. Say it until it becomes embarrassing not to act like it. Because eventually, you will protect your future the way you protect your pride. The third truth is where discipline becomes freedom. Friction is your friend. A life with no friction is a life that leaks. Leaking money. Leaking focus. Leaking time. Make it slightly harder to spend impulsively. Not with a complicated system. With one simple idea. Create a gap between desire and decision. Because the gap is where you regain control. Most purchases don't survive a little silence. Most needs are just emotions in a hurry. The fourth truth is about enough. Most people stay stuck because they never define what enough looks like. So they keep chasing a moving target. They upgrade because it feels like growth. They spend because it feels like reward. They say yes because they don't want to feel left out. But if you never choose your enough, the world will choose it for you. And the world's enough is infinite. So pick a definition that makes you feel calm. Enough space. Enough savings. Enough margin. Enough to sleep. Enough to say no. Enough to handle a bad week without panic. When you choose enough, you stop being purchasable. The fifth truth is small, and it's everything. Keep promises to yourself that nobody claps for. Not big dramatic promises. Tiny ones. The ones that rebuild trust between you and you. Because financial stuckness isn't just lack of money. It's lack of self-trust. It's making plans and breaking them. It's telling yourself next time and watching next time become never. So start with a promise so small you can't negotiate with it. And then keep it. Not because the amount matters. Because the identity does. And there's one more truth that separates people who escape the loop from people who don't. Stop financing a life you haven't earned yet. Not because you shouldn't have nice things. Because debt turns tomorrow into a place you're already trapped in. It makes your future show up with handcuffs. If you want to feel what freedom feels like, remove the monthly payments that quietly tax your peace. It's hard at first. Then it's lighter. Then one day you realize your money is starting to obey you. Not because you became a different person overnight, but because you stopped letting your weakest moments make permanent decisions. That's how people get unstuck. Not by becoming perfect. By becoming honest. Honest about what they're really buying. Honest about what they're really avoiding. Honest about the fact that "I deserve this" can be true and still be the sentence that keeps you broke. So here you are. Same life, same bills, same phone in your hand, but a different awareness, a quiet choice staring back at you. You can keep living in the loop, refreshing the bank app, waiting for relief, waiting for more income to save you, waiting for a version of life where discipline is easy. Or you can do something subtler, harder, more powerful. You can start living like your future is real. Because it is. And the question is not whether you have potential. You do. The question is, what are you going to stop doing so that your future self finally stops paying for your present self's comfort? If this video makes you feel better about how you handle your personal finances, welcome to Moments of Money.